Your child melts down over the smallest things. They can't sleep and they refuse to go to school. The emotional outbursts are getting worse, and you're walking on eggshells, never knowing what might set them off next. You've tried counseling, therapy sessions, and maybe even medication, but nothing seems to stick. In fact, everything that you try seems to make their anxiety and aggression worse. You're not alone, and you're not failing your child. 4.4 million children in America struggle with anxiety, and the numbers are climbing every year. What most parents don't realize is that their child's anxiety isn't a behavioral problem that needs to be managed. It's a neurological problem that can be addressed at its root cause core. When an 8-year-old named Damon started having self-harming thoughts and refusing to go to school, his mom, Nashia, felt hopeless. She said, "Everything I would do was making his anxiety and aggression worse." But when they discovered the real root cause wasn't in Damon's head, it was stuck in his nervous system, everything changed. This video is for exhausted parents whose children struggle with anxiety, aggression, or emotional regulation challenges and who are tired of being told that their child will grow out of it or that medication is the only solution. You'll discover why your child's anxiety isn't behavioral but neurological, how early life stress gets stuck in their nervous system, and most importantly, how neurologically focused chiropractic care can help your child finally access their natural ability to calm down and regulate their emotions. When we met Damon, he was struggling emotionally with anxiety, not an easy thing for an 8-year-old to handle. His emotions were coming out as anger and aggression. He was refusing to go to school, and things were getting progressively worse for his entire family. It got so bad that he was starting to have self-harming thoughts and actions. Damon had already been through a behavioral program, but his mom, Nashia, felt like everything she tried was making his anxiety and aggression worse. She was worried about what school would look like and how he would adapt as he got older. When they found our office, it was the first time Nashia felt heard and hopeful. As she said, there was no judgment. They felt understood and finally had some solutions as to why Damon was struggling. And even better, there was a solution. So let's understand why your child's nervous system gets stuck in this anxiety mode. One, anxiety is a normal part of life. It's going to show up naturally during times of stress, big life moments, challenges, etc. The worst kind of anxiety is the anxiety about having anxiety, which really is a sign of a dysregulated nervous system and what we're talking about here. Your child's anxiety isn't a character flaw or a behavioral choice. It's their nervous system stuck in a constant fight or flight state, unable to access the rest, digest, and regulate mode that's essential for emotional well-being. When the nervous system is out of balance, even simple daily activities can feel threatening to your child's brain and body, triggering anxiety responses that seem disproportionate to the situation. This stuck state caused by subluxation, stress and tension that builds up in the nervous system and interferes with proper brain-body communication. Now, what creates this anxiety in childhood? We call it the perfect storm. Subluxation builds up often and starts as early as stress during pregnancy, when maternal stress hormones cross the placenta and impact your baby's developing nervous system. Birth interventions like C-sections, forceps, or vacuum extraction can create physical trauma to the delicate upper neck and brainstem area where crucial nerves are housed. Early childhood experiences like falls, illnesses, emotional stress, and even frequent antibiotic use continue to add layers of stress to an already overwhelmed nervous system. Without addressing these root causes, children don't grow out of anxiety. They often grow into more complex neurological challenges. The vagus nerve is really the connection that most doctors never mention. The vagus nerve is your child's brake pedal. It's responsible for activating the calming, healing side of the nervous system that allows them to self-regulate and feel safe. When subluxation interferes with vagus nerve function, your child loses access to this natural calming mechanism, making it nearly impossible to help them settle down on their own. And this explains why traditional behavioral approaches often fall short. They're trying to teach coping skills to a child whose nervous system is physically unable to access the calm state needed to use those skills effectively. We need to work on that calm state first so that all of those skills can be utilized. The other thing is that vagus nerve is going through that upper neck area. It's the biggest impact right there. So if we have things like birth trauma or early childhood stressors that are affecting this area, the vagus nerve is one of the first things that's going to be affected. So how do we identify and address the real root cause of this anxiety? At Generations Chiropractic, we use Insight neurological scans to detect and measure the presence of severity of subluxation and nervous system dysfunction in your child. These scans show us exactly where stress is stuck in your child's nervous system and help us create a personalized care plan that's tailored to their unique needs. Right here, I have an EMG scan that is a perfect representation of the stuck sympathetic fight or flight patterns that we commonly see on our Insight scans when a child or a patient is struggling with anxiety. This scan shows all sorts of increased or excessive tension in the cervical and sacral regions, which flood the nervous system with nonstop sensory noise and overload that then overwhelms the brain and nervous system, leaving it stuck in sympathetic dominance. Additionally, this EMG scan has that small yellow bar in the lower thoracic region near T10, which is the area of nerve supply and controls the adrenal glands, indicating that this is long-standing stress patterns that have led to adrenal fatigue and insufficiency, which is a hallmark finding of anxiety and neurological exhaustion. So if everything we talked about today in this video sounds all too familiar and you'd like to learn more about navigating anxiety, the Insight scans, and learn how to get a better sequence of optimal healing, you can click the link in our bio or comment below. You can also send us a DM.